Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica, Imperialis, and welcome to episode 11 of Adeptus Podcastus, the Warhammer 40,000 podcast, where all sorts of random stuff happens. Joining me as ever are Remleiz from 40k Theories and Ego Queen Alexis.
How you guys doing?
Hello everyone.
So yes, how is everybody today?
I am doing terrific. I'm sitting here painting armor. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm not too bad myself. I'm just getting over a cold, so if you hear me coughing, that's probably the reason why.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and I, by contrast, had no reason to go into university today, and yet I was there for 7 hours. Just
Ouch.
Because, yeah, I just went in to do lab work, and then French work, and then lunch, and then a meeting, and then the pub, or the SU. So it's been a long day.
Well, the pub sounds nice. I like that part.
Yeah, I went for literally a pint of Coke and I read the paper and then I went home.
You're
Now
such
I'm
an
here.
adult, it's ridiculous.
Oh, there was nothing else to do. I was waiting for my friends to finish labs.
Like, out of us three, I think you're the adult here.
No, I just have to be efficient with my life because I don't have time for things.
Neither do I.
I have a lot of time on my hands.
Oh,
Fair dues. Yeah, we can't all be super busy.
Well,
No,
right now,
sadly.
I have 20 days to finish this stupid cosplay, and it's taking me forever. I just
Really?
got the stilts in. I just got everything else in. I just need to build the giant leg armor, and it'll be perfect.
That doesn't sound too bad.
The legs are 30 inches long.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The stilts are like 18 inches to 20 inches. I can't remember.
Some people have a fetch for that.
Oh, and I am a dumb American and use inches.
To be fair, like, we still measure heights in feet and inches.
What? Why?
Hey.
That just seems
Yeah.
confusing.
It's a I say
What's
it's a euro.
confusing is the American dating system. I mean, month, day, year. I mean, what logic sense does that make? I mean, you go from either smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest, not medium, small, big.
Hey. Hey. I have no way to defend this at all, but shut up.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, most things we measure in the UK. I think height is and weight are like the only two things that are still in imperial. Everything else has gone metric. Like I don't know my height in metric, but I'm 5'11", 6 foot ish. I just know that. Oh well.
Speaking of
You're
Imperial,
taller than me.
what's in the news this week?
Oh my god,
Yes,
Cypher's back. That's
I
the
was going to
important
do
part.
I was going to do a slightly dramatic build up there, but never mind. Yes, in the news today, as of the day of recording, which is the 3rd of February, we had an announcement, well, not an announcement at all, pretty much a leak / announcement, I don't really know which is which, of Gathering Storm 3. Gathering Storm 2 isn't even out yet, but the plot for that has been spoiled through the screenshots of the White Dwarf for Gathering Storm 3, which is called either the Primarch Rises or the Rise of the Primarch.
Rise of the Primarch.
Thank you. The Primarch in question being not Lionel Johnson. Despite the fact that Alexis spoiled the fact Cypher is back, it's not Lionel Johnson. It's Robu Gilliman.
La 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 la, it's the king of the Smurfs. Which makes no sense whatsoever, considering the fact that Lionel Johnson is right there.
I know.
You know, hell, even Russ would make more sense. He's right over there, behind the bushes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And at this point as well, Games Workshop have actually released a video on Warhammer TV, either due to this leak or because they want them might have instigated this leak. But yeah, also new Grey Knight model as well. We don't know who the hell that is yet.
Yeah, we've had conflicting reports on who that could or could not be.
I think it's the new Supreme Grand Master.
I've
Quite
heard
possibly.
it could be Mordrak or someone like that because I know he's the ghost guy.
I mean, if it's Garrow, I'm gonna flip my shit. I'm gonna be so happy.
It's probably not going to be Garrow, though, considering that Black Library turned around and said, yeah, Garrow's not going to be a Grey Knight.
Well, Black Library has said a lot of things, and look where we are today.
Yeah, but I think there's enough evidence for their... I'm currently trying to piece together the 8 Grandmasters of the Grey Knights and nail all of them down.
Wow, I thought that was my job.
Their identities. And we've got Red Arbiter, Felzerost, probably Severian, Tylos Rubio, no, the original Severian Grandmasters. Yeah, Tylos Rubio, Felzerost, Revularvida, Severian of the Lunar Wolves, and Epimetheus, who was a Dark Angel. So yeah, I'm trying to work my way through who all 8 of them are, but Garrow, I do not believe, was one of them. I won't rule it out, but I don't think he was. He's more likely to be associated with the Death Watch than the Grey Knights or the Inquisition in general.
That's true. Also, did you guys notice that that's the Fallen? Like, flat out, black armor, Dark Angels. That's the Fallen.
Fallen the Loyalist confirmed.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Remleiz didn't open this conversation with another "I was right, bitches" comment, as he did last time.
Well, we don't know if they're fully loyalists. It might be an enemy of my enemy type deal.
I wasn't even referring to the Fallen.
Oh.
But yes. I was referring to the fact that Guilliman's back.
Oh, who cares about that?
One thing I'm generally confused about. Why has he got tiny little bonfires attached to his ankles?
Hey. Don't mess with his fire ankles. Those are his new J's.
Has he been playing Dark Souls a bit too much? I must carry the bonfire with me so I can save my progress. Or something. I don't know.
Last time he didn't save, he went into a coma for 10,000 years.
To be fair, if we're going to talk about fire, why is his sword on fire? Because I'm assuming it's the same sword he wielded during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy.
It's not. The sword he wielded during the Great Crusade. The sword he wielded during the Great Crusade was a gladius, which is a short sword. This is a long sword.
Yeah, I think it's the Burning Blade. Just flat out.
There's always a possibility it could be Fireblade, Fulgrim's sword, because who's the last guy he fought? Fulgrim.
Who was the last guy? Who was the last guy to use Fireblade? Manus.
Details.
Yes, but Manus died and Fulgrim took the sword back.
I don't remember seeing that confirmed because he had the Layer Blade.
Yes, but he gave the Layer Blade to Lucius, didn't he?
That he did.
I'm just going to sit here because I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
And to be fair, Guilliman wasn't stabbed by Fireblade by Fulgrim. It was wielding poisoned blades rather than Fireblade.
Maybe it's poisonous fire. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not impossible that it is the Fireblade, but I wouldn't bank on.
There's always there is a possibility. It is the Emperor's sword, because don't forget what was another. Well, remember, Rabute Gemin after the Horus Heresy, he was Lord Commander of the Imperium. He was basically the guy in charge. So he's got access to the Emperor's stuff. He could root for the drawers and stuff. And don't forget
he's wearing the Emperor's underwear.
Probably. But don't forget, what other artifact do the Ultramarines have? They've got the Staff of Malcador, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
Tigurius has Malcador's War Staff, so, it's not unprecedented.
Yeah, I'm actually
it's a little too small to be the Emperor's sword.
I mean, I'm looking at the image, and I'd say it's roughly the height of a Space Marine. To be fair, it's a very big sword.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually probably having a look
at this. I'm not even going to go for the easy joke there.
That's fine. But yeah, I'm actually having
his massive sword in his hands.
I'm
actually having a proper look at this artwork for the first time, and yeah, even the Fallen Angels, which is what these guys basically are. We pretty much convert that to this point. A lot of them do actually have old style armor, like Maximus armor. They don't look like I don't know if they are the Calf models because they don't look quite right. But
let me check the picture again. I can tell you.
Because I can tell you that armor is it's Mark. It's certainly not Mark 3 because I've got Mark 3. It looks like Mark. It's probably Mark 4 or 5 armor. It's definitely not Mark 6.
It's Mark 4 mixed with some Mark 7 bits.
Yeah, so will they be like a brand new kit, or is that just conversion?
It looks more like conversion kits, because if you look at their plasma gun is the current age plasma gun. It's not the ancient one. One thing that I will notice is that Cypher is reaching for the sword in his pose.
Ooh, so he's actually going to be wielding it.
Yeah,
well, he's reaching for it and standing next to...
Guilliman has issue with this sword, doesn't he? Guilliman has issue with the fact that Cypher has this sword.
Well, yeah,
what sword is it?
The Lion Sword.
It's Lion's sword.
Yeah, the Lionel Johnson's sword, yeah.
I haven't got as far as that. I haven't got as far as Research in the Dark Angel yet, so I didn't know he actually had Lion's actual sword. I assumed that was the Lion Blade that Azrael had.
No, he has Lionel Johnson's sword, like Azrael has Lionel Johnson's helmet. They all just kind of took pieces from the Primarch.
Yeah, because the sword that Azrael has is the Sword of Secrets.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He's got the Lion helm, not the Lion Blade. Sorry, I'm dumb.
Yeah. Which for some reason was green, not black.
Details.
Actually, I think he was... Wasn't he? No, he's black. His armor, anyway.
That's racist. Sorry.
Well, actually, he is more Native American than anything else.
Yeah. Native American Christians. That's basically the Dark nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to have a look at this Grey Knight to see what I can piece together, because he's got a lot of inquisitorial sigils on him, like more than any other Grey Knight. Like his Iron Halo has the inquisitorial seal in it, and his hammer has the inquisitorial seal on it. I'm trying to put my finger on who he is as well, and it's on his left. Not is it Vambrace? No, Shin Guard. I don't know if it's what the name for like lower leg armor is.
Am I the only one that's, like, confused as to why Guilliman is covered in the Aquila? Wasn't that not allowed?
Yes, it was. 'Cause the Aquila is the symbol of the Emperor.
But only the Emperor's children were allowed to use it.
Yeah, and he's kind of covered head to toe in it.
To be fair, though, like, I don't know if... this doesn't look that much like his 30k armor.
No, it definitely isn't.
So you can assume, what we could assume is that when he was Lord Commander, a lot of this modification was made.
That would make sense.
A lot of that modification. Also, I love the fact...
I love how he woke up and then someone said, that armor's out of date, let's make you some new ones.
Actually, to be fair, there's actually a point actually made in this text talking about... I read it earlier that Guilliman is going to be dealing with his... attitude to what the Imperium has become. Yeah, here we go. The resurrection of the Primarch Robert Guilliman, it's not resurrection technically, who must then come to terms with what the Imperium has become in the 9,000 years he's been in stasis. So we could see some actual proper bust-ups going on between the various Imperials as well.
The Guilliman heresy.
I'd be okay with this.
Oh, God. And also, if you want, do we want to go through the Gathering Storm 2 spoilers that are basically on the same page?
We might as well.
Yeah,
let's
okay. Well. So this is the story so far. 13th Black Crusade, War on Cadia, Investigation of Cadian Panels. I'm going to go through the whole thing in here. Trazyn goes to Cadia. Succubus Brain, so she's obviously a Dark Elder, that's now confirmed, is the emissary of Inaid, and she was from the Witch Cult, the Dark Elder of the Dead. Biel-Tan is invaded by demons. The heart of Biel-Tan destroyed by Ivrain, creating the avatar of Inaid. Biel-Tan is fractured. The Inaria form, which are the servants of Inaid. Celestine appears on Cadia. Abaddon invades Cadia. Trazyn unleashes his exhibits, including Greyfax. The Inari go into the Eye of Terror, hunting for the Crone Swords. No idea what they are. Eandon is invaded. Cadia is toppled. The survivors, led by Celestine, travel to the moon of Claysus, where they meet with the Inari and escape into the Webway.
Ooh.
So yeah, Celestine is still not dead.
Celestine will not die. She is like a main character. She is my bae right now.
I've seen some more rumours of quote-unquote leaks of what's happening at the end of part 3. So take this with a grain of salt, because it's probably going to be wrong. But the site that has reported this has been right on a lot of leaks in the past. Now, apparently, at the end of Gathering Storm part 3, Abaddon dies.
Good.
Like, completely. and the person who kills him is actually Cypher.
Oh my god,
I'm on board with that.
They actually did a story a long time ago where Cypher and Abaddon had a duel, and Abaddon lost after getting stabbed, but chopped Cypher in half, who disappeared. Now that is not canon anymore, but it sounds like it might become canon again.
Apparently the way Abaddon is killed, he gets shot in the face with a bolt pistol.
Yes!
Point blank.
Just a fucking bolt pistol, of all things. Like Celestine's sword straight through his back and one of his hearts. No. Fucking Cypher.
Well, don't forget, a bolt pistol is, essentially a small rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
Well, yes, I know this, but...
And if you get that point blank in the face, and don't forget, Abaddon doesn't wear a helmet either.
No, because like a good Chaos character, you need to kill them easily.
Indeed.
I hate Abaddon.
Also, I love this image in the corner. It's one of the battle shots, and you can see. I think it's Celestine, or it looks like Celestine. It could be one of her girls. I can't quite tell. No, her little girls are next to her. Sorry, my bad. But you can see just lined up, Guilliman, Calgar, Sikaris, and then some guys who are the wrong color. I can't quite put my finger on who they are because I can't zoom in any further. And the image is
now,
a bit.
That sounds racist.
No, but they're not Ultramarines. They're either guard. They could be Cadians. They could well be Cadians, but why wouldn't they be surrounded by Ultramarine honor guard? But it's just I love the image there, and I'm just having to think what the hell is Calgar gonna do? Yes, obviously Gilliam's got a lot to deal with, but Calgar's now got to deal with the fact that he's not the most important man in the world anymore.
Well, here's what Calgar's gonna do first. He's gonna get on his knees, and he's going to pray. Yeah, let's go with that.
Are we going to say something else?
Yeah,
of course I was. That's what I was going for. No,
something that involves the sound of zipping trousers.
Marinus Colgar's probably going to step down as chapter master and give it back to.
He won't step down as chapter master. He'll still be chapter master. He'll just be under the command of Guilliman. Because
Could you imagine if he said no?
Well, they're fighting together in this image, so I think he will. Calgar is Marius Gage Mark II confirmed. It'd be funny if they get rid of Calgar Marius Gage style, just lose him in the warp.
Yes.
And he comes back later as a demon prince of the Emperor.
Actually, that's one thing that I want to bring up real quick.
That's what I thought as well. So you carry on first, and I'll mention mine after.
All right. So, somebody got mad at me because I said the only way Abaddon could be cool is if somebody killed him. And the guys are like, oh yeah, we're done here. And by the time this goes out, my video on Primarch Celestine will have gone out, which is just talking about all the ways that she's not really a Primarch. But anyway.
Thank you.
Anyway. I talked about the only way that Abaddon would be awesome is if he actually died. Okay? And he can't die in any normal way. He has to have his will broken. He has to go through what Horus went through, but his soul not shattered. So when he goes back into the warp, because, that's what happens when you kill a Chaos character, he would come back as a demon prince.
I'm actually okay with this idea of Demon Prince Abaddon. I'm okay with this idea.
The only way you get Demon Prince Abaddon will be to kill Human Abaddon, because Human Abaddon has turned down demonhood at least 4 times.
And with his will shattered, he would
out of desperation, yeah.
I need to be saved right now, and Drakneon would be like, let me possess you.
It could work. Obviously, this is set on Macragge now. They've moved to Macragge. They just jumped to Macragge. But did they resolve the whole Phalanx business? Is the Phalanx still mid-fight?
I think the Phalanx is done? I'm not sure.
Didn't the Imperialis launch it into the warp along with Be'lakor, and that's so he could use it to target Terror or something?
Probably. I don't know. I gotta reread the book because I kind of went through it really quickly.
Okay, so now that Gurliman's back, and we've got to discuss what's happening with Calgar. because Calgar's already, let's be honest, just a torso and a head. I'm imagining a scenario is going to happen that in the story he gets even more grievously when all his bionics are shattered, his torso's fucked. And it's like, right, we're showing him in a Dreadnought. Dreadnought Calgar.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, if he got a Contemptor Dread, it would be even cooler.
Because they'd actually be able to... The thing is, what would happen to the gauntlets of Ultramar? Do they pass to Agaman, or because they're too small to fit on a Dreadnought chassis, realistically?
They just make them bigger.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, guys, I was wrong about the bolt pistol. The Sword of the Lion is on Cypher's back. My bad. He's reaching for his bolt pistol, so he's probably going to execute... Like, the pose... He's probably going to execute Abaddon.
Ha.
And we see, actually, in the image, Thousand Sun Terminators. It's not Black Legion, so
yeah, it's a
will Magnus be there?
More than likely.
In fairness, with that picture, it could be just... This is what Dwarf we're talking about. They like to use the newest models in every photo shoot. You know,
also, why is it the Ultramarines' fourth company?
I have no idea.
I think the red is fourth company.
It's probably because people got tired of painting Ultramarines blue and gold, so it's like, let's make them blue and red.
I think it's third company, because I had Imperial Fists. I turned my Black Reach Marines into Imperial Fists, and I'm sure I gave them red.
Let's go through the codex exercise. First company is white. Second company is gold, like gold and yellow.
Yep.
Fifth company is black. I know that. Fourth company is green. And yeah, third company is red.
It is third company. Okay.
So yeah, because if it was fourth company, then that would indicate Yuri of Ventress as well. But third, I don't think we know much about the guy in third company.
What we do know is that second company has had 3 captains.
Yeah, but let's talk about the best one of all of them.
What, Cypher?
What? No,
what?
the best captain of the Ultramarine second company, Titus.
No, that's what we're talking about. Cypher. He's the best. He's the best character.
That would be a cool.
Plot twist.
I mean, it would be impossible. No, it wouldn't, because time travel does exist in 40k.
But not controlled enough to make it work.
Yeah, but you know,
tell us the Ordo Kronos.
That's the Ordo Kronos who are lost.
Or are they? They disappear, then reappear all the time, even working the Death Watch. So.
Wow, yeah. Games Workshop makes a pun over in the corner with the new Knight Titan, where it just says, "Good night, all." Good job, Games Workshop. I love you.
Yeah. I also want to point out that this is probably, like, was it you, Alex, who said there's probably going to be, like, 4 parts to this?
Yes.
Well, it says here, like, obviously, there's a little thing about Cypher, and talks about the fact, yada, 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 the gunslinger's returned, claiming he will help Guilliman, but only if he takes him to Terra. So that implies that this is not done.
Well, that was Cypher's mission anyway, because it was hinted at that
now,
where Cypher's been appearing on all these other planets, he's actually making his way to Terra, because there's people who believe that because the Lion Sword he has is actually broken, they believe that if he gets to Terra and presents the Lion Sword to the Emperor, the sword will be repaired and now basically be symbolic of the Emperor forgiving the Dark Angels for betraying him.
Yeah, but it seems like his grand journey to Terra has just taken a big jump to the right. He's gone the wrong way to end up in Macragge. But yeah, so it looks like we're going to end up... There's going to be a part that takes us to Terra.
Well, it might be the end of Gathering Storm and the start of a new series.
Age of Emperor. No, that's not going to happen, let's be honest, because Game of Workshop's own official Facebook page put a thing out saying End Times is not coming to 40k.
Well, no, they said... the End Times is not coming to the tabletop. They're just furthering the story. So they're not doing an Age of Sigmar to 40k, the tabletop, but they will do it to the fluff.
But if you're going to do it to the fluff, that implies you're going to have to do something absolutely... By the End Times, you imply something absolutely cataclysmic happening to the fluff. The Emperor coming back, technically, is not cataclysmic, not in terms of how we see it.
It would be, because if he, like, it depends how long it takes for him to come back, because can he fix that, that hole under the palace that's slowly enveloping the planet?
And they've also made the point that Guilliman's task is of saving the Imperium rather than leading it. so it could be saving it from itself. Don't know.
Gilliman fights and then he sacrifices himself at the end of Gathering Storm. He dies and never comes back.
No, they're bringing back all the Primarchs. Like, all of them are coming back. Including the dead ones, more than likely.
Why? Why would you bring back the dead ones? There's no actual
dead.
reason for it.
Because
they
reasons.
are dead.
Unless you turn around and say, surprise, they're Fabius Battle clones!
Which completely defeats the point.
Yeah.
If you want to bring back in terms of the loyalists, you want to bring back the missing ones, and in terms of the traitors, you want to bring back the demon ones, okay. But in terms of the dead count on both sides, if you look at the actual dead count of Primarchs, there's Manus Sanguinius, and is there another loyalist who's dead?
No, I think that's it, actually. Ferrus Manus Sanguinius.
And then you have, on the other side, you have Kurz and potentially Alfarius.
And Horus, obviously.
And Horus. So, yeah,
you can easily say Omegon as well.
I mean, you could easily say Alfarius / Omegon is alive. You've got 7 on each side. You don't need to bring back the dead ones.
Yeah, but they might still pop in, say hi, check on the kids.
God damn it. Funny thing, I've actually seen some people say, Gilliman's the first Primarch to have 2 models, when, no, he's not. Technically, the first Primarch to have 2 models was actually Angron.
We're not going to talk about the Rogue Trader ones. They don't count anymore.
I'm not talking about the Rogue Trader one. I'm talking about the Epic one.
Oh, yeah.
The Epic scale Demon Angron. That came first, and then he got his Forge World model, so he was actually the first one to get 2 Primarch models. Albeit one of them was a demon one. But this will mean that Magnus will actually be the first Primarch to get 3 models.
Yes, we'll come on to Magnus in a moment, I'm sure.
That sentence.
For God's sake.
Is that why he's only got 1 eye? Sorry.
Stop. I've had a long day. Stop. Yeah, I understand why they brought Gilliman back. I'm just going to make this point now. Gilliman is back for the sole reason of the Ultramarines are the poster boys, and that's it. If it was anyone, if the Space Marines were all equally represented in one codex, and there was just a universal Space Marines, then they'd have brought Johnson back because he makes more sense in the lore. But Gilliman is back because the Ultramarines are the poster boys. The end.
Actually, if you check the sales record, I think Tyranids outsell Space Marines at this point.
But I'm talking poster boys, not most sold.
Yeah.
Well, for poster boys, it is the Tyranids and Space Marines.
All the marketing generally revolves around the Astartes. You look at the rule book is for the Dawn since as long as the rule book, the main code, the biggest hyped codex,
and even with the what's it called, the Battle of Vaedros snapped together kit, so you get in toy stores and stuff like that. It's Space Marines and Orcs.
Well, that's just repurposed sets that didn't sell.
Yeah. Well, it's not sets that didn't sell. It's the fact they are selling them in other places. If people are going to go and they're going to go and buy Space Marines or Orcs, they're not going to go to a toy store to buy, Eldar or Tau, are they?
Yeah, and every box game that has ever been has been primarily about the Space Marines. So the Space Marines are even if they aren't the most selling race in the game, the poster boys are the Space Marines.
Yeah, every box game has been Space Marines, because second edition it was Space Marines Orcs, third edition it was Space Marines Dark Elder, fourth edition it was Space Marines and
Tyranids. Yeah. 5th edition Marines Orcs, 6th edition Marines Chaos, 7th edition didn't get one, technically. But every box game that has come out, Shield of Baal...
Actually, no, 7th edition did have one. It was Deathwatch versus Harlequins.
That came with Space Marines.
Yeah, well, a type of Space Marines that aren't really Space Marines. They're worse Space Marines.
They are Space Marines still. They're a Space Marine. They're the militant chapter of the Ordo Xenos. So how the Grey Knights are the militant chapter of the Ordo Malleus.
Yes, but I'm talking on tabletop.
Yeah, they're still Space Marines.
Yeah, but they suck. Oh my god, they're a terrible army.
That's beside
the point.
Yeah, that doesn't change the point I'm trying to make. That it's Gilliman because the Ultramarines are the poster boys, not because the lore makes the most sense, because it's the Ultramarines equivalent is back. If it was for lore reasons, it would be Johnson. Because if they're going to bring Cypher in, it makes sense to bring Johnson back as well.
Now, the question is, when this was first revealed, how big of an erection did Matt Ward have?
I think Games Workshop is keeping him locked up in the dungeons.
He's working on Age of Sigmar anyway, I think.
They invited him back, and then they just trapped him as soon as he walked in, and they put him in the dungeon. That's what they did with him.
Oh, and for those who care, Gathering Storm 3 will be available on the 11th of March, pre-orders on the 4th, so we've got a month to wait before this all comes out, and we get the actual details.
So fun times are ahead.
End times are ahead.
No.
Only for Abaddon, it seems. Then he comes back as Demon Abaddon with 3 heads. 1 for each Chaos God.
What?
Like the Archon model from Age of Sigmar, riding monster with 3 heads.
Yeah.
Each representing each of the Chaos Gods. It does have a Slanesh tattoo on its butt, though, apparently. I've not seen a model, but apparently that's what it does have.
Yeah, I don't know all the... I know there's a lore reason why Slanesh isn't represented in the same way.
Because Slanesh is lost.
No, it wasn't that. It actually wasn't that. It was more that either Slanesh scorned Archaon or Archaon scorned Slanesh, one or the other. Anyway, that's beside the point. We have rambled on. I need to choose my words carefully because Alexis is in one of those moods. We have rambled on.
Whoa! Shots fired.
You have literally inappropriatified every word I've said that has been able to be made inappropriate. You can understand.
In fairness, in her defense, she wasn't the one talking about Matt Ward's erection.
I think Remleiz got me beat on this one.
Thank you.
Anyway, so yes, we talked for a fair old while about Guilliman and the implications of all of that, and we shall see what happens. And I'm sure when we do whatever episode that we get to, when this all boils down and we get all the information, there will be a lot to talk about. But there is more in the news, and the main one being the fact that by the time I think
you just cut out.
One of those who plays...
Yeah, he cut out.
Oh, did I cut out? Sorry.
Alright, you're back.
Okay, so yeah, the Horus Heresy Weekender will be over and done with, and that means that we should have all the details for Horus Heresy Book 7, which means
Inferno!
Yes, Inferno, with Sisters of Silence, Custodians, Solar Auxilia, Thousand Suns, Space Wolves, and the rules for Leman Russ and Magnus the Red, along with, hopefully, the model for Magnus the Red.
Nah, they could just leave him.
I only recently just found that apparently in the Horus Heresy Imperial Guard militia army list for 30k, apparently you can actually upgrade your guardsmen to be squats. That's awesome.
Have not seen that yet. I'd have to check that.
Yeah. I just heard about this myself from because there was actually a doubles tournament at Games Workshop HQ, and Duncan from Warhammer TV played with another gentleman, I believe his name was Neil, from the Heavy Metal team, and he had a converted squat army, and apparently he actually had points values for them and everything, like actual rules for half guard and stuff like that. I was like, that's awesome. Seriously, that army was so cool. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures of that.
I have not.
I did, yeah.
Conversions from Warhammer Fantasy Dwarves and Imperial Guard kits. It looks fucking awesome.
I have Garrow in my hand right now.
Oh dear.
No, I'm debating whether or not I want to build and paint him, or I want to get my professional to do it. And I'm thinking I want to get it done professionally.
Considering it's Garrow, get it done professionally.
Well, I got Celestine.
If you've got the money and the patience, then yeah.
Well, that's the problem. I don't have the money.
Hmm.
I mean, it'll probably be something around $80 to get him done.
Just remember, if you do paint him, make sure to thin your paints.
God damn it.
For half my paints have thinned themselves.
This guy is awesome, though. There's so many parts to just Garrow. I do wish he had a helmet on, because that's the one thing that's bugging me.
Just get one from the Cal Space Marine kits, then. Just stick one of those on.
I could, but I'm probably gonna keep him to the way he is.
That's fair.
He also has 2 bases. Like, one for his decorative base and one for his actual base.
Doesn't the actual base, like, sit inside the decorative base? I think that's how the models that do that work. Excuse me. So, yeah. Hang on.
Has Mesa Varan got a model yet? Because I know Talos Rubio has.
No, he hasn't. Sorry, I couldn't hear anything there. I think people have been cutting out on me more than one side. I wasn't sure if people were talking. But yeah, Varan does not have a model. It's only Rubio and Garrow from the Knights Errant. And Logan.
I'm just glad Garrow has one, because this makes my chapter awesome. I actually have Garrow.
I wish Mesa Varan, because Mesa Varan was absolutely badass.
Mesa. I haven't got to the World Eaters yet, but Mesa Varan does look like a pretty big badass.
Oh, it was. But, I don't know if you listened to many of the Garrow audio dramas, but was it Sword of Judgment, where it was like Talos Rubio, Garrow, and Mesa Varan against a group of traitorous white scars, and Mesa Varan just like killed a whole bunch of them single-handedly with his chainsword, or power sword rather. Sorry, and it was awesome.
Actually, there is something I wanted to mention. One of the comments I got on one of my videos, they were talking about how, do you think the Custodes were designed to kill Astartes?
Yes.
And I was like, well, actually, yes. If you read Masters of Mankind, the Blood Angel is just like, I would never be able to survive in a fight against this guy. He is just perfectly timed killing these Space Marines like they're nothing. And the one custodian who doesn't even have a name is killing like 10 to 15 Space Marines by himself that are all demonically possessed.
And then there was that one who had his ass handed to him by Garrow.
Yes. But that's because he's Garrow.
Records of that.
Yeah, it was in one of the audio dramas, and they had a sparring match, and Garrow beats his ass. And the Custodes gets pissed off about it. It was like, you scratched my arm, I'll kill you. It was like, I beat you fair and square, don't be such a pussy.
Actually, Masters of Mankind has one of my all-time favorite scenes ever in it. And that is the Titan fight. Towards the end of the book,
I haven't gone that far yet.
Oh, you're getting spoiled.
No!
But towards the end of the book, the Titan fight at the end, and her final words, which is, they were so awesome. Fucking Dracneon, though. Anyway, I won't spoil it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I still have to finish that book.
So do I. What else is in the news this week?
I think we're up to questions. I think we covered the news.
Aside the thing we're just going to ignore.
What thing that we're going to ignore?
You know, the thing that is absolutely not worthy of the community's attention and would just cause too much of a shitstorm to be relevant.
Oh, that thing.
What thing?
Yeah. Do we have to spell it out for you?
It'll be a bit too hairy to get into detail.
What?
Alexis, please. You literally made a video on it.
I make a lot of videos. I instantly forget the entire context of all of my videos.
Moving on.
Yeah, skip. Is there anything else?
No, I want to know.
What love is? Sorry.
The Space Wolf thing. The
rabbits.
Rabbits?
Oh my god.
I am so confused.
If you know what we're talking about, leave a comment below.
You know what? I'm going to go and check my video.
Honestly, should we actually address this just so the comments don't have a flame war? I don't know.
Oh, the stupid PETA fucking thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now we've addressed that, moving on.
Okay. I was so confused when you said rabbits, and I'm like, do you mean the wolfen?
Oh, jeez.
Like, I know they're stupid looking, but damn.
Anyway.
It's Prime Minister's question time, I believe.
Yes.
So let's just jump straight into it. Question: what do Space Marines eat?
Anything that they feel like it.
They eat their own shit.
They will also consume brain matter, will they not?
Yes.
To consume the memories of their opponents.
Isn't that also just heresy? Just flat out heresy?
No, I think it's. I don't know if it's a common tactic, but it's something that happens.
Like, could you imagine that? Like, the one guy just grabs a freaking Tyranid, eats its brain. I'm pretty sure that's heresy. Like, no matter how you
Tastes
look
like
at that...
screaming.
Yeah, no matter how you look at that, that is just flat out heresy. Let me bite into the enemy that fell to chaos so I can figure out what their plan is.
It's probably more a tactic associated when they encounter a new race for the first time, so they can see how that race behaved and thinks.
Let
and
me
fights.
bite the skull off of a freaking Tau and see what they taste like. Blueberries.
Blueberry.
No one said it was a very nice practice, but it is a thing that is true.
Hey, you tell that to the Flesh Eaters chapter.
Well, they're stupid.
I know the Flesh Tearers. I didn't know there was a chapter called the Flesh Eaters.
Yep.
That's
Guess
news.
what they do.
I don't need to.
Anyway.
Who are they descendant of?
Space Marines do have a sustained diet that's usually fed through their systems that keeps them sustained. They also do have grand celebrations and eat similar to normal human foods at feasts.
Yeah, the Space Wolf feast where they consume copious amounts of red meat and alcohol.
Well, I was actually talking about the Dark Angel one, but yes.
Although now I've got an image of a spaceman just sitting in his core, just eating a pack of Pringles now.
That's amazing. No, it's a war gamer. It's just this fat guy in a suit of armor with a bag of Doritos drinking a Mountain Dew.
I prefer Pringles.
Yo, Pringles are the shit. I love those.
Sour cream and onion every time.
No, original.
I'll take original, but sour cream and onion.
I will fight you.
Right, question. With the new Alien movie coming out this year, what do you think of the Alien universe versus 40k?
Are there even enough aliens to make it a good fight?
Probably not.
Actually, yes, they are. Okay, so it depends who hits who first, is where it really boils down to. If the Genestealer cult hits the aliens first, the Tyranids will win. If the aliens hit the Tyranids first, get a Gaunt and get a Genestealer, they will have all of the adaptations of the Tyranids, and, well, of those two branches, and be able to fight against them until they can get bigger and bigger warriors.
But can they survive long enough?
Oh yes, without a doubt. They're experts at stealth.
Okay.
So if they were on a Space Hulk, like, so there's limited numbers, I think the aliens would actually beat a group of Genestealers.
I don't really know enough about other sci-fi universes to comment on this one.
Also, the Tyranids are based off of Alien anyway, so you kind of have to give it to the predecessor on this one.
You don't have to give it to the predecessor.
I did, damn it.
Well, they also take element either the Zerg borrows off the Tyranids or vice versa as well. So
no, it's Zerg is based strictly off of Tyranids.
I wasn't sure which came out first. That was all.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. I don't quite understand this one, so you guys might though. Who do you ship in 40k? Cat smiley face.
Basically, shipping is the idea of like romantic pairings in like TV series and things. I think apparently it's quite a thing in anime.
I found an entire forum on this based on me, Arch, you, and Fiora.
What?
Yeah. So let's just move on. Because people like pairing me with anybody that I work with, assuming that I am dating them.
I seem to be exempt from this, presumably because I'm a little bit younger than everybody else.
Yes.
Okay. Why can't a Primarch be trans? I'm pretty sure they could if they wanted to be.
Yeah, there's no limitation on them. I'm pretty sure that's a reference to the video I made where Celestine just sitting in the room of Primarchs, okay? And Celestine is like, hey guys, I'm actually trans, and I identify as a woman. And all the Primarchs, like, flipping shit, and, like, Leman Russ standing in front of her. Yo, it is her identity. You don't fuck with it. And, like, Vulcan standing there, too,
I can't imagine Leman Russ being the tolerant, progressive type.
No, Leman Russ would totally be the overprotective big brother.
No, that'd be Vulcan.
No, Vulcan would be there as just, like, you want to fuck with her, you have to get through me. I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Felgrim would be like, this is awesome, I'm going to do your nails and hair. Sanguinius
would just be like, if you can kill shit, then it's fine.
Yeah, Jagatai would just be like, I don't like this, but whatever. The Emperor is the one that I figured would actually flip his shit because there's perfect projects, and that's why she was deleted as a Primarch.
Though in fairness, Malcolm was very supportive of it.
Yeah.
It could also just be a way of...
just a gay couple between those two.
Actually, Malcolm was the Emperor's son.
Anyway, let's let Michael talk. We've cut him off times.
This question is pretty much a way of trying to justify that Celestine is a Primarch with the Lionel Johnson had 19 brothers quote. I still don't buy the Celestine Primarch thing because Celestine was a sister of battle in M36.
I made an entire video about this, about how Celestine can be both a Primarch and still be active in current 40k lore. Essentially, she is a perpetual that the Emperor ripped her soul out and attached it to armor. The person who puts on the armor becomes Celestine.
It's a great demon.
Yeah, that's just demonic possession straight up.
That's the idea.
So basically, Celestine is a Phoenix Lord.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
It's the same technology as the Phoenix Lords.
Yep. Anyway.
If Sanguinius' death caused the Black Rage and the Blood Angels, then why didn't Ferrus Manus' death do the same to the Iron Hands?
Well, it didn't. I don't have an answer for that.
Did it not? I'm pretty sure that's what caused the Black. They always had the red first.
Cygnus Prime.
But the Black
Cygnus
Rage.
Prime. Cygnus Prime.
I thought Cygnus Prime just awakened the red first in every Blood Angel.
I'm pretty sure that the first confirmed into the Black Rage was Cygnus Prime. Because Sanguinius almost died. Backlash. The psychic. I don't think it wasn't the Black Rage then, or it wasn't known as. It was just some sort of like completely incurable madness gripped them. Because obviously the Black Rage, the vision that most people now associate with the Black Rage is the death of Sanguinius on the Vengeful Spirit. But as far as I'm aware, and I'm willing to be corrected, the Cygnus Prime incident was the first time where something that is what we would now associate with the Black Rage appeared. I am pretty sure of that.
There are Space Marines that have beaten the Black Rage.
Yeah, Lamarties.
Literally two. Lamarties and Mephiston. That's it.
I don't think... Did Mephiston go Black Rage? I thought he went...
It was originally red first, but in the newest codex they've changed it to Black Rage.
Okay.
But all the other previous editions...
When he had a bastion fall on him and he couldn't lift it up.
Yeah. This next question was for Michael, but you already answered it on the actual comment section, Michael.
What was it, just in case you guys have anything to contribute?
Question for Michael. Based on their personalities, which Primarchs would have remained loyal to the Emperor and which would go traitor, and how would you have written the story so it plays out in that manner, assuming the Word Bearers and Sons of Horus still fall to chaos?
Yeah, that assumption is pretty much a pointless assumption to make. But like I said, I think on the comment, we've all done our own things on this, like who we think. And in my personal headcanon, the most likely ones who would have stayed are Alfarius, because he may not have gone at all, and Magnus, because, well, he just got fucked over. And the most likely to go are Russ and debatably Sanguinius or Manus, based on the idea of doing a Magnus, i.e., realizing that you're basically accidentally selling out to cure your legion.
Oh God!
And you see why I'm having to choose my words. But yeah, because I argued this when I did my corruption of the Loyalist Primarchs. If Sanguinius was willing to basically die and sell himself out to chaos in order to save his legion for the Red Thirst, so in another timeline he could well have actually done that. And Manus, the same idea with curing the Iron Hands because he couldn't do it himself, and there weren't really that many Necrons around and all of that stuff. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I'm sure you guys have your own opinions as well.
I'm good.
Yeah, I haven't really got anything to add to that. Next question. Which Chaos God do you hate the most, and why?
Slaanesh.
Tzeentch.
And why?
Because that fucking
how many
nerd.
how many ways do I need to spell out how much I hate Slaanesh?
Please do. These are fighting words.
Slaanesh just creeps me out. Maybe I'm just immature, but Slaanesh just creeps me out. I don't like the model range. I don't like the lore behind Slaanesh, and I don't particularly like Fulgrim. I don't particularly like any of the Emperor's Children at all, which doesn't help. I have nothing that makes me like Slaanesh. I don't like really how they play on the tabletop, because if you want a speedy army, you can play something like Eldar. You want a close combat army, you can play something like Khorne. Slaanesh is just a bastardized hybrid of the two. It doesn't really work all that well, because it's not as fast, it's not as killy. And
clearly you've never been hit by a Screamer bomb.
No, I haven't, but I have yet to face Demon Magnus. But I have a particular fondness for Tzeentch because of Thousand Suns. I quite like the idea of the noble side of Khorne, and I like the model range a lot more, and I like Angron. And Nurgle, I like Typhus, I kind of like Mortarion, and while the lore is also a little bit creepy, I find it less creepy than Slaanesh, and has endearing aspects to it. I find no endearing aspect in Slaanesh.
Pride.
Yeah, I have seen the debilitating effects of pride, even on a basic level. I know full well that even something as good as that has its risks.
Nope. Slaanesh is bae. I love my Slaanesh. When I build my army, it's going to be Screamer bombs and freaking summoning. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, but that's Tzeentch.
No,
I hate the great...
what are the fucking, the anteater horse things called?
Seekers.
Well, no, they actually have a name.
Seekers.
Seekers, that's it. The Seeker bomb.
Seekers are mounted on steeds.
Yeah, those are amazing. I hate Tzeentch because fucking it's just magic, and magic makes no sense in 40k. And everything that they do is just like, oh, because magic. I
hate the Great Horned Rat. He has no place being a Chaos God. There you go. Easy done. Next question. What universe could fit seamlessly into the 40k universe, as on a hive world, as part of the early days of the Imperium, etc., etc.?
So,
Spawn.
I honestly don't know enough.
Spawn, the Jurassic Park universe, could easily fit in.
Yep.
Star Wars, believe it or not, could seamlessly fit in and then be destroyed, which I think is what the first book was really implying, the first book of the Horus Heresy, where they destroyed the Emperor.
There's possibly an implication there, but I don't think there's enough to make anything concrete, because I don't remember.
Other universes would be Starship Troopers, would easily fit in.
Aliens, Predator.
The Aliens, Predators would definitely fit in. Gundam would fit in seamlessly. Let's see. Full Metal Alchemist would actually fit in really well.
Wouldn't that fit in better with Warhammer Fantasy, though?
Both yes and no. They do use science and technology to do alchemy, so it could be like a technomancy, and they could just be like...
But isn't alchemy also, in a way, a form of magic?
It is a form of magic?
Literally, the lore of metal in fantasy was entirely based on alchemy.
Yeah, but I don't like fantasy, so suck it, nerds.
There's a long list of things that would probably slot into the 40k universe.
Apparently Venom did. Perfectly.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that.
That was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, how did Marvel not get sued?
They basically just said, hey, Games Workshop, we're bigger than you. And Games Workshop was like, yeah, well, we're going to sue you. And he's just like, no, you're not.
Well,
okay.
In fairness, Games Workshop didn't have a legal case because they used the Tau Sept symbol, which is a copyrighted image of Games Workshop. If they use everything else, that would be fine. And just say, yeah, that's just an homage. But the fact they used a copyright symbol, it'd be like going, having some Warhammer artwork, and having like one of them reading, I don't know, Invincible Iron Man issue 1, and having the exact same artwork and font on the cover.
It basically just boiled down to Marvel just going, "Hey, we just gave you free advertising. Shut up."
Actually, speaking of free advertising for good or for ill, and I'm going to very briefly, I don't really know if this is even worth mentioning, but I was reading, like I said, I was reading the local paper, my university paper in the pub in the SU, and they were talking about a bunch of different things, and the God Emperor Trump page actually managed to get itself mentioned in the Blum student brag, and I was like, really? Okay.
Really?
It didn't get talk about it at all. It was just mentioned, it's a right-wing page that has been censored on Facebook. It was just like, why does this have to be mentioned? Just leave it alone.
When people mention the whole God Emperor Trump thing, I just tell people that it's referencing June.
I just ignore it.
I usually correct him and call him Fuhrer, Emperor, King, President Trump. Call him by his correct title.
But we're not going to talk about politics because that's not what we do.
Next question. I don't know if I should ask this one because it seems very smutty.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Remleiz being affected by chaos and/or Alexis giving his worrying predisposition for heretical remarks relating to Slaanesh? Has he taken this demon to his personal chambers to study the enemy with great enthusiasm and intensity?
Moving on to the next question.
See, this is why you should listen to me and not take on these stupid questions. Well, not stupid, but
that is not a stupid question.
It's not a stupid. It's not a stupid question.
Research needs to be done.
It's not a stupid question. It's just a question that even you didn't answer it.
Yeah.
The correct answer is not yet.
Oh dear God. I'm putting salt outside my door right now. Anyway.
Well, the ocean in the way is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of salt. Right.
Next.
Would it be somehow possible, at least in theory, for a human psyker to be able to tap into the power of the War and gain the same benefits that orcs receive? I'm pretty sure that's what Yarek's doing. I'm pretty sure Yarek's doing. That's why he doesn't die.
Yarek. But Yarek got his bionic eye in order to reinforce the idea that the orcs believed he had an evil eye. He didn't tap into any power to do it. He literally just the orcs think I have some evil eye of doom. I'm going to get myself an evil eye of doom, and he got himself a doom laser in his eye.
It's theoretically possible anyway, because don't forget, if someone like Varotaikiris can tap into the hive mind, I'm pretty sure someone could potentially tap into the War.
Here's a debate. The orcs could actually be affecting him. Think about the Rise of the Beast series when they were trying to experiment with the orc weapons, and they had a dead orc. They couldn't figure out the firing mechanism for the shooters until they put the dead orc's hand on it, and it started firing.
Orc weapons work only because orcs believe they will work.
Yeah, but this is a dead orc.
Yeah, this was literally a dead orc that made his weapon work through the psychic energy still left on him. So their energy is so powerful that it works after death, that it could possibly have fully taken over Yarek's entire being and made him a perpetual, because the orcs believe he's so powerful.
Not impossible, I suppose.
Check, come here.
When Dark Eldar die, why don't their souls go and give Slaanesh a huge power-up, like with Eldar Soul Stones, to keep their souls safe, and the Dark Eldar who died don't have that, so what's stopping them from feeding Slaanesh?
Nothing stops them feeding Slaanesh, they just never intend on dying.
Yeah, that's why they keep resurrecting themselves in new bodies.
And also rejuvenating themselves through insane amounts of pain, torture, and murder.
Yes.
Don't the Dark Eldar also have wraiths to trap their spirits in anyway?
Not that I'm aware of.
As far as I'm aware, I don't think the Dark Eldar had any wraith constructs.
Well, hang on, didn't we talk about this before? Like corrupted wraith constructs in Vect's personal army. I'm sure we talked about that before.
Yeah, but that would be more of the exception rather than the rule.
Yes, that would be true.
Yeah. If the three of you could raise the militant arm of whatever sub-faction/faction they're a part of, what would their army composition be?
I would have to go with Space Marines. Or Sisters.
I just want to read the reply to this question. Someone said, Michael would lead a whole squadron of Tau battlesuits, Alexis would lead an arseload of Chaos Cultists, and Remleiz would enter battle with Rogue Dawn and the Pillar-Stodes.
I'm not fast. I actually have now published my own character's backstory. He's no commander. He's a bleep scientist who modified a battlesuit that he can fly in and goes invisible. Who's also a psyker. Don't ask. Tau psyker, weird. But yeah, if I were to create like a sub-faction for the Tau, like, the Farsight Enclaves are like everything that is right with the Tau. Because for me, like the problem I have with the Tau is that their ideology is pseudo wrong. Like, I don't like the way the ethereals work.
I need an hour.
And on the tabletop, they're too static and shooty, and they're not very flexible. Even though in the lore they're supposed to be extremely flexible. And the Farsight Enclaves fix all of that. No ethereals and a much higher preponderance on fast-moving, hard-hitting warfare and more battlesuits. It suits me right down to the ground. Like, the Farsight Enclaves is what I would do if the Farsight Enclaves didn't exist. Although I would quite like to raise a gay base of faction. That needs to be a thing. Like a proper gay base of faction.
Fair enough. Next question. If you could lead any Imperial Guard regiment, which one would you pick and why?
Please be quiet.
There's a question. I'm kind of like the efficient type, so someone like the rebellious stuff like Catachan really would not suit me. Cadia, Mordian, something like that would probably work my way. Like sort of relentlessly efficient, know exactly what they're doing, well organized. Is more my style rather than Catachan.
I'd probably lead the Maccabian Janissaries just because I like the fact they're wearing all those death masks and stuff. They look cool. What would you pick, Alexis?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Oh, god damn it. If you could lead any Imperial Guard regiment, which one would you pick and why?
Vistorian Firstborn.
I'm not even surprised you picked Vostroya.
They're amazing. Just look at them. They look cool as hell. And you get Gazine with them.
No, you don't. Trazin is a separate... whatever. Anyway, next.
No, he has an entire faction of them. That's what was released on Cadia. They were part of his collection.
In which case, correction, he had an entire regiment of them.
Oh yeah, most of them are dead.
There's most Acadians, though. Anyway, would the Soul Drinkers be able to come back ever?
Define come back.
But are you aware of what happened to the Soul Drinkers?
No.
They basically just kind of just disappeared into the warp.
In which case, yes. The answer is yes. Assuming they didn't get themselves killed, of course they can come back.
Yeah. Wait, which was the chapter that got turned into spiders?
Yeah, that was the Soul Drinkers. That chapter master got turned into a spider.
Oh, then, yeah, I mean, if he's dead...
He was a spider who was loyal to the Emperor, but not the Imperium. Renegades are fun.
Renegades are awesome. It's what the Sons of Garrow are, technically.
Sounds like the Red Corsairs as well.
I'm not too certain about the wording on this question. If you could add one unite to 40k, what would it be?
Unit.
Oh, it could be unit higher.
Add one unit.
40k?
It depends because because when you say add one new unit, you could easily do a Legion of the Damned and just add a unit and say, okay, that's a new faction.
Actually,
or you could
speaking of Legion of Damned, I would add a Legion of the Damned Dreadnought.
Or Terminator.
Yeah, because they don't exist anymore. I would go with that. That is what I would do.
Yeah, something for Legion of the Damned would be cool. From a purely tower-based perspective, I'd like to see the... I know the other cast pilot array is still experimental, but I'd like to see the other cast get a better representation, So, for example, you might have an Earthcast research team who works something like Jacaro, or you might have like a small like Aircast fighter squadron as opposed to like full-on fighters like the Razor Shark or the Manta. Or if you want to go down the Watercast route, you even like I know the Watercasts are not fighters at all.
I think
and he's
The
gone.
Battlefield.
And he's gone again.
Oh, did I cut out again?
Yes.
Yeah.
God damn it! Where did I get to?
Watercast.
Yeah, the Watercast. They're diplomats at the end of the day, but if they are caught in a battlefield situation, yeah, they'd be terrible fighters, but they could have a place. And I'll come back again. Give Acer or some other alien auxiliary that fulfills a proper dedicated close combat role or heavy armor role. That's my 2 cents.
I would have to feel it's the Imperial Guard.
Yes.
And Scaly.
Yes. Oh, what about Shahardin?
Yes. More abhuman species to the Imperial Guard. So Scaly is feeling this, Saharadin, everything.
And yes, that is the way you actually pronounce it. I know a lot of people yelled at me for that. It's not Shaharudin. It's Shaharadin. It's Arabic. Anyway.
Why does everyone hate the Tau?
Because they're fucking dumb.
I was actually going to raise this. I was when I was coming home from GW yesterday. I was actually trying to think about I should probably raise this on the podcast. People hate the Tau. Well, Thunder stated his reasons when he was on the show. He talked about the fact that basically Dark Crusade corrupted his opinion of them. In my opinion, it's partly their lore and partly the fact that people just got absolutely fed up of Tau in 6th edition.
Okay, here's the reason why I don't like them. A close combat army could never hope to beat them because of their stupid Overwatch rules, where everything gets to Overwatch, the amount of interceptor that they have, the amount...
Let me just stop you there. Supporting fire as a standalone rule is the only thing that stops Tau getting run over half the time. Because when I play smaller games, supporting fire does not save you. Supporting fire literally maybe will do 2 extra wounds, 3 extra wounds if you've got a really tight bubble.
But you're also not playing like Riptide Wings.
I'm not playing Riptide Wings. No, I'm not. But
yes, supporting fire with a Riptide Wing will destroy an entire unit. And if you have Tetras there...
a Riptide Wing is 3 Riptides. You can't Nova, realistically, unless you've Nova'd in advance of that, and if you're doing that, you've probably boosted your shields or your boost. So if you've got burst cannons, which nobody takes, you've probably got 6 shots. If you're running Ion, it's 9 shots.
Actually, I think everybody over here takes them.
Oh, everyone I've seen over here takes Ion.
Yeah.
But let's say it's Ion for a second, because that's what I'm used to. That's 9 shots. That's, unless you've got marker lights, that's 1.5 hits, and then 1 wound.
There's also Tetras, which can fire marker lights in Overwatch, and then other units can use them.
Yeah, Pathfinders do that as well. But yeah, as I say, supporting fire as a mechanic is not broken. As a mechanic, it makes perfect sense as a mechanic.
It would be okay if 1 unit got to do it, but the fact that all the units get to do it, they will destroy anything that tries to charge in that is not a full blob.
And that is why you multi-assault. You throw more than 1 unit in and force them to split their fire. You don't charge 1 unit at a Tau gun line because it will die. You charge 4 units at a Tau gun line, and suddenly your opponent has to think, "Oh God, what's going to Overwatch with what?" You just don't. You don't send 1 unit into 1 charge. You make sure that your opponent who's playing Tau has too many things to Overwatch. So supporting fire basically at that point becomes ever so slightly better than regular Overwatch, which is basically a non-existent entity unless you've really hard built for it.
Overwatch is actually another rule that I would completely get rid of. But
I have never seen Overwatch do anything.
If you lose 1 guy, you suddenly go from a 6-inch charge to an 8-inch charge. If you lose 2 guys...
If you're conga lining, yes. If you're conga lining, yes.
And I'm just largely indifferent to the Tau.
I'm not going to sit here and say the Tau are amazing and no one should ever hate the Tau. I'm not going to say that because there are things wrong with them. Their lore and their gameplay mechanics, well, one, completely clash with one another, and two, don't always make sense. But the amount of shit they get, I think, is just too much. The Eldar get away with so much. I've said this before, I'm sure. The Eldar get away with so much shit, even though they are more convoluted in their fluff and more broken on the tabletop in the majority of cases. At least from the experience that I've seen, Eldar are the best army in the game, generally. And yet they get far less shit than Tau do.
No,
Tau get shit.
I give them far more. In fact, I have an entire folder of memes just for battling Eldar. I have two for battling Tau.
Yeah. The Eldar have more reasons to hate them, but yet the Tau are considered... If you had a poll of which army do you hate the most, and I'm not going to actually go and set up a poll.
I totally will.
I reckon the Tau would win it. Or lose it, as the case would be. I do believe that, because it's not irrational hatred, but they get more hate than they deserve. I think.
I don't like the Tau. Forget blue commies.
Moving on.
Do you read, I didn't like Angron, and then I read Angron's lore, and I liked him. I didn't like Tau, and then I read Farsight's lore and played Farsight Enclaves, and I like them. There's things wrong with them, yes, but they're not they don't deserve to be completely reviled by everybody who doesn't play them. That's unfair.
Actually, I think my friend that does play them also hates them.
Then why is he playing them?
He plays them to win tournaments.
That's just sad.
Actually, I was at GW last night, and there was a guy who actually played aggro Storm Surge. He walked up the board and attacked things with it.
Well, yeah, it does have D close combat hits.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see it played a different way. But anyway, that's my thought. People hate Tau because of either the game, the lore, or some other reason to do with the video games. I think that's the case, but they don't deserve it. Not as much.
Which faction would you like to see go extinct?
Tau. No, Tau are too easy of a target.
I'd be quite happy taking either the Dark Eldar or the Necrons out of the game, if I had to.
I think I actually like the Necrons more and more because of Trazine. And I do mean his actual lore.
You saying you like the Necrons because of Trazine is like me saying I like Tau because of Farsight. Both are completely valid arguments, and therefore does not whatever.
A race that should be completely exterminated from 40k.
It's not a race; it's a faction.
Oh, faction.
Faction.
Probably. I don't know. They all kind of fit in except the Tau, but I wouldn't want to see the Tau destroyed because I like the youngsters.
I want to personally, not taken out of the fluff completely, but basically removed as a full army. I don't want the Grey Knights as a full army. I always imagine the Grey Knights as being more specialists, there's the one conversation that you just send in a unit, like with the First War of Armageddon. Logan Grimlar had the entire Space Wolves chapter, and then it's like, okay, Demon's right, I'll call in a company of Grey Knights. That's basically it. He didn't have to have they send the entire, every single Grey Knight after him.
So
I don't like the idea. I would minimise the role of the Grey Knights instead of having entire armies and tactical squads and stuff like that.
So roll them into the Imperial Agents Codex, basically.
Pretty much. With second edition, for example, Grey Knights were only Terminators. Grey Knight, you can have a Grey Knight Terminators. And I would rather go back to that and maybe give them a Land Raider as well for transport. But aside from that, get rid of everything else. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, fair enough.
What do the Thousand Suns do with their free time while on the planet of sorcerers? Do they play Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, nerd stuff, etc.?
Yes.
The Rubricae will obviously do nothing unless they're told to, and the sorcerers will probably be doing research or plans most of the time. I'd expect.
Actually, I bet the Thousand Sons are creating the rules for Yu-Gi-Oh! Because no one can understand that shit.
Is it Magic more complicated than Yu-Gi-Oh, though?
No. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Magic on crack.
I managed to grasp a game of Magic within, 2 games. I can't remember how now, but I learned quickly how to play Magic. I can't remember a thing about how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I played it back before it was very complicated.
I judge both of them. I don't like either one.
I'll go on record and say Hearthstone's the better card game.
I do quite enjoy. I don't get to play it anymore, but I do enjoy Hearthstone. I do quite like the look of it.
Do you think 8th edition needs to streamline 40k, and if so, how?
Yes, but not too much. They have to be careful. I think the main thing that is at the moment is there's too many universal special rules and conflicts of interest in think about a shooting phase, for example. You have to check your line of sight, declare your target, roll to hit, taking into account for any hit modifiers, special rules your unit has, then accounting for twin linked. You then have to roll to wound, and you have to do a bunch of comparisons for that and calculations, like comparing on charts. And you have to do all the rules associated with that. And then you have to take into account armor saves and AP values, and then which save is the best one to take. And then you have to account for feel no pain and any other rules you might have. And then you've got to remove casualties. And then it just goes on for a really long time. And the assault phase goes on even longer because you have to account for cover, you have to account for overwatch, you have to account for placement. You have to account for multi-assault. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen, and Universal Special Rules really slow it down. I would say, yes, the game needs to be streamlined, but to be fair, I played a 1,500-point game last night in a shade over 2 hours. It's not that slow in the hands of skilled players.
I can play a 1,500-point game with a skilled opponent in 30 minutes.
Jesus.
I can play Genestealer Cult and have a game last 20 minutes.
Yeah, because you table them on turn 1 or you lose.
Yeah. No, but I do mean a full 7-turn game. I can do that in under 30 minutes, even with orcs. I don't see a problem with the Universal Special Rules. They're there for a reason. The things that I would like streamlined are Battlefield HQs, the CAD, tournament scenes, and... Forge World stuff being redone to be more balanced.
Actually, I just want to clarify something with you, Alexis. Does a Spartan have ceramite plating?
You can give the Spartan ceramite plating.
Okay, good. I didn't cheat when I one-shotted it last night. Good.
I want a Spartan. I really need one. They're so cool.
I fought 8 Death Guard Terminators led by Typhus in a Spartan last night.
That's kind of awesome. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jelly.
And I tabled them.
You dick. That's because they were heretics and not Sons of Garrow.
It was actually 40k Death Guard, not 30k Death Guard, before you ask. But yeah, that was an interesting game. I'm making a video about that game because it relates to a point I want to make about Death Stars and stuff. So anyway.
Is Games Workshop coming up with a new Abaddon model? Well, if they're killing him off, that hadn't revealed it by now. Probably not.
Given that,
I actually think they are.
Yeah, they were showing the old one in Gathering Storm, though, weren't they?
They were, but they also have a Forge World one that I think they could recast for Games Workshop use. That looks a lot nicer because Abaddon's current model
is that the 30k one though?
Garbage.
Yeah, the 30k one.
It is, but they just need to switch his armor up a little bit.
Yeah. They need to change his armor and switch his power sword for Dracnian.
Fucking
and
shit.
Upgrade his lightning claw to the Talon of Horus, and you're done.
Please.
Could Gork and Mork be old ones, or rather the interface that was used to control the Orc/Krork? Perhaps remnants of the original system in place being the Brain Boys.
Yes.
Not impossible, but then if Gork and Mork were the control interface between the Krorks and the old ones, I'm pretty sure we stated last time that the Krorks were completely uncontrollable, And the only time that Gork and Mork, I believe, have ever directly spoken to the orcs is Ghazghkull. Like, Zogwalk claimed that Mork guided him in destroying an entire Imperial Guard company in one shot when he lost his eye. But there's no substantive evidence for that, and even Ghazghkull's visions are potentially not Gork and Mork, if Gork and Mork even exist. So, well, they do exist, but it's not impossible, but I find it unlikely given the fact the old ones can control the Kroorks, and Gork and Mork don't do anything at this point, pretty much.
Apart from hit each other.
Yeah, apart from hit each other or the other gods.
What does it mean for a soul to be devoured for the soul concerned? Eternal suffering or the end of existence?
Depends on who devours it.
I've often wondered that one too, because if you look at the soul as a power source, it doesn't do either. It's just like energy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, most souls aren't actually consumed when they die, because if you die as a warrior, your soul is captured by Khorne and put to work and suffers immeasurably. If you're an Eldar soul, yeah, you get consumed by Slaanesh. What actually happens? Are they just subjected to a brief amount of torment and then just cease to be, or
I
what?
think in regards to Slaanesh, it would be eternal torment, because that will give Slaanesh so much more pleasure.
That is very true. If it's Slaanesh, I would say it's yeah.
Could a non-undivided champion actually function as War Master without allowing inter-Pantheon rivalries to creep up? Like Khan trying to kill all non-Khornate warriors mid-Crusade. Also, the Chaos Lord Slaanesh in fantasy rides a demon snake with 3 sets of tits, so Fulgrim could definitely have some.
So we're saying, could a champion of a Chaos God lead an undivided warband?
Or be the War Master?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And then scale it up. The reason that can work and also can't work is the same reason why orcs have issues. Like, the orcs are all generally made up of different clans when they get thrown together, particularly the longer a war goes on, and it takes a supremely charismatic and violent warlord to keep the orcs in check.
Like Ghazghkull.
Like Ghazghkull. Pretty much, Ghazghkull is the only one who could keep the orc race united for long. And the problem with a Chaos Champion especially is that if you're aligned to a god, you are aligned against another god, Khorne, Slaanesh, Nurgle, and Tzeentch. So let's say it's led that Ahriman is the War Master for a second. His favoritisms will clash with the close combat nature and honourable nature of the Khornate warriors. It will clash with the entire mindset of Nurgle. I don't think it's in theory possible, but I don't think anyone is skilled enough to do it. And the rival god would pretty much immediately, as soon as their usefulness was served, would just turn them into a spawn immediately and just be like, fuck you.
That, but repeated in my words.
What do you guys think about Reviel Arvida being Janus? I got pissed off with that, to be brutally honest. I wanted him to be the founder of the Blood Ravens. The Blood Ravens and the Space Marines with Steel Rain, Borealum, etc. memes.
I had no idea who those characters were.
Reviel Arvida was one of the powerful librarians of the Thousand Suns, and Janus was the first founding Grand Master of the Grey Knights.
It's also worth pointing out that Reviel Arvida was also a loyalist,
who was infused with part of Magnus the Red Soul when he became Janus, which is why he's super powerful.
If Brian Blessed and Nicolas Cage were cast as 40k or 30k movie, which parts would you have them play?
The pile of ash under somebody's boot.
You could have had Brian Blessed playing someone like Imperial Preacher, like super loud and inspiring. You could probably make that work.
Yes. Who do you get for Nicolas Cage, though?
No, Nicolas Cage can go away. Actually, Commissar Yarick.
Doom Rider.
Eidolon.
What was Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider?
He was Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Doom Rider. Duh.
He's a national treasure.
Can any of you do Angry Marine lore?
No. The meme is dead. Let a terrible channel do the meme do the fucking lore for that. I know there's one channel in particular that is absolute garbage that will do that.
To quote Kitten, this is not fucking canon. My lore series is about stuff that is fucking canon. The one exception being my own lore, and I still grounded that in canon.
I just hate the Angry Marines because they're stupid.
Yeah. I'll generalize it that I would not cover non-canon stuff. Like, I know, Remleiz, you do have your homebrew series, which is people's own like homebrew lore, but generally my lore series will be about canon stuff, which also is very annoying because the video script I wrote for the Ultramarines now needs to be changed, and it's annoying.
Oh dear, never mind.
My character literally went on record and said, "They say Guilliman's healing in stasis, but I doubt it."
Oh shit, I was wrong. He's getting up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
He's surrounded by get well soon cards. It was like, oh, that was a long. Now, what's been happening for the last 9,000 years? What the fuck do you mean, Imperial Creed?
Yeah, and all that stuff. To be fair, Guilliman would have probably seen some of that come to be. Like, he'd have seen the Ecclesiarchy come to be. He'd have seen the Inquisition come to be.
Don't forget, in the Beast Arises, when Fulgrim was found, he basically turned around and said, "What the fuck have you done with this place?"
Oh my god!
Touché.
When Fulgrim tells you that there's something wrong, there's something wrong.
You know you fucked
up. Question for Alexis: If the Emperor was remade entirely out of Cyberdongs, would Slaanesh, being the god mostly linked with lust, find the Emperor now a lot more appealing and consider allying with the new Dong Emperor of mankind?
All right, we can move on. And yes, the answer is yes.
Do you ship Greyfax and Celestine?
Can people just stop it? Just stop it.
How do you guys feel about Blue Stuff, which is a reusable mold that you can make copies of an original model?
I've actually used it before. I use it on terrain pieces and small things like bits, just to get extras.
Another problem with people using it, like, say, for example, you're using, like, as a cast on an expensive model just to make some scenery of it. Like, if you use it, let's say, on a Thunderhawk gunship, make a model of it and just use it so you can have a blown-up gunship on your tabletop, as opposed to buying another 500-pound gunship and ripping it to pieces.
That's actually pretty cool. No, but a lot of people use it to make recasts and sell them on eBay, and yeah.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
My opinion on this Blue Stuff is the same as my opinion on 3D. If you need it to like extra spares or variant guns, that's one thing. But if you're going to use it to make entire models, then don't. As much as we may bash GW, and whether they deserve it or not is another debate for another day.
I have never bashed GW.
As much as I say, we the community in general, like it's the done thing to bash GW in general. But as much as we do that, without them, 40k doesn't exist. So can you just deal with it, because without them we have nothing.
Also, the prices are fair and balanced.
But to be fair, they're not too bad. And with all the box sets coming out, it actually is pretty good value these days.
Yeah. We know that the original legions each had more or less a specific role in the grand plan. For example, the Raven Guard and Alpha Legion being saboteurs, Iron Warriors, siege experts, etc. What do you think the last two legions could have been? Any major strategic roles missing?
We don't have a very good space-based legion or aerial supremacy legion.
Heavy weaponry legion?
Iron Hands.
Let's see. We have siege experts. We have breachers. We have.
We have our Empire Builders. We have our Psychers. We have close combat.
Terror tactics.
General all-rounder.
We
Empire
also have
Builder.
Chemicals.
Chemical warfare.
Siege warfare. We have everything. Like, they're just not needed.
Yeah, they were designed to be homebrew. So those two legions are there to be homebrewed. So I don't think there's any major thing missing. Like Surgical Strikes, Sons of Horus, or Lunar Wolves, sorry. I think they're pretty much all covered.
It would just be aeronautical.
Yeah, space
maybe
and
aquatic
stuff.
warfare.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's said, like, a fleet-based legion is probably the one thing that I think you could easily accommodate. But beyond that, I think you pretty much got it. Well, to be fair, we have had... Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry, carry on. Finish up.
It's just that we do have legions that double up, like Raven Guard and Alpha Legion. While the Raven Guard are more about stealth and the Alpha Legion are more about manipulation, there are some crossovers, so you could probably make some sort of hybridization.
Yeah, because Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists are both effectively siege warfare, and one's good at defending sieges, one's good at breaking sieges.
Yeah, we have the World Eaters and the Space Wolves who both do similar sort of things, just with a different style.
If Leman Russ returns, how would you react to the fact that Bjorn is still alive and fucking pissed off that he was left?
I don't know enough about the Wolves fluff.
Well, considering that Bjorn was left, behind by Leman Russ, out of all his Wolf Guard, he was the only one left. I think Bjorn would be a little bit pissed off. He'd be like, I heard nothing from you. I've been waiting 10,000 years. You didn't call. You didn't write. Got so worried I made dinner for you every night.
Is he a boyfriend that got left behind?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, though, Bjorn has been asleep for a good chunk of it, so it won't always feel like 10,000 years. And to be fair, I think Bjorn is kind of the I'm just done with this shit level now.
That's one thing I don't understand about Bjorn's lore. They say, he's only woken up once every 1,000 years for maintenance checks, but he's woken up every century to tell stories. So which is it? He's woken up every century or every 1,000 years? Make your damn mind up.
And he's also conveniently woken up every time the Space Wolves have something important going on. Like, for example, when he had to bitch slap the Grey Knights and the Inquisition to fuck off.
Shows up.
Or when Magnus shows up, yeah.
So you get off my lawn. Can a xenomorph hive conquer a hive world? Yes.
Already discussed aliens.
Yes. Yeah, we already discussed this. No, they couldn't take down a hive world. Yes, they could take down a small amount of them.
Could the main Tyranid swarm be running from the Men of Iron?
Ooh.
No.
The Men of Iron are at the wrong side of the universe.
That would be cool, though.
There's also the fact...
Actually, there is a debate that we know the Tyranids came to our galaxy because of the Pharos beacon, we know that. But were they in the void of intergalactic space because they had nothing to eat or because they were running? We still don't know.
Well, they were just in hibernation, they said. In fact, in Pharos, the book, it says they were literally just, hibernating. Then one of them caught the flash of the Pharos beacon and basically went, hey, lads, dinner's there. Let's go.
But why did they leave the last galaxy they were in? Were they running from a superior predator, or did they just run out of stuff to eat?
I think they just ate everything.
It's just never been canonically explained as to what their exact reason is.
They could be fleeing from the enslavers.
Yeah, but they're warp-based, though.
Yeah, and the Tyranids basically say to the warp, fuck you.
That could have been an adaptation from killing an enslaver.
Possible. Sorry.
If Doom Rider and Ghost Rider engage in an epic battle in the warp, which Judas Priest song starts playing in the background? Painkiller, obviously.
Yeah. I have to go with that.
Not my genre. Also, can I just point out, how tall is Doom Rider? Because if he's on a bike, which is an Astartes pack bike, he must be the smallest Demon Prince on record.
He is the second smallest Demon Prince. The smallest being the host.
Oh, yeah.
Because the host is literally just a guardsman who is a Demon Prince.
That is true.
Alexis, does Cult Ambush count as arriving from reserve?
Yes and no. It does for the purposes of after game turn 1. It doesn't during deployment.
Yeah, because in the deployment phase, it's basically just infiltrate on crack.
Yeah.
And the last question, is it possible that Huron Blackheart is the plan C in the possible event that Abaddon dies or outlives his usefulness?
Abaddon has outlived his usefulness after the 10th Crusade.
But who's plan B?
Plan B is Magnus.
I thought Horus was plan A, Abaddon was plan B. That's my imagining, but...
Okay. The problem is that Kieran, at the moment, he's got one world to his name, and he's quite happy just raiding shit. He's not a conqueror. He's not an empire builder. Not anymore.
Doesn't he control the Maelstrom anyway?
He controls. What he controls is New Badab, which is in the Maelstrom, and the Red Corsairs basically, if anything goes near the Maelstrom, will fuck it up, and will raid the Maelstrom zone, which is all the worlds around it. But they don't conquer it. I reckon if the Red Corsairs wanted to, they could take back half of the systems in the Maelstrom zone if they tried. But the problem is their numbers are too small right now, and yes, Huron has probably been saved/bargained his soul away to the Chaos Gods. So, I could see why people would come up with the idea of him being Plan C, but I don't think that the traitor legions would respect him enough, would follow him. For the same, I don't think he's quite got enough control over them the same way as a God-aligned champion would do.
So in that case, who would, if the rumours are true and Abaddon does die, who would be the new War Master of Chaos?
I could see them saying to Lorgar, right, we've tried the subtle approach, we've tried the manipulating approach, get out there and kick some ass. I could see that.
But for a mortal champ, let's say a mortal champion as War Master.
Okay, if you want a non-mortal, if you want a mortal champion, then yeah, Huron is a pretty good candidate. But Honsu has been on Bellacor's wing, so you could see Honsu perhaps.
Yeah.
So yeah, Honsu or Huron if you want a mortal one. Lorgar.
Guys, it would be me.
Right.
Yes, of course. How could we forget?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to throw a question. This is basically for Alexis. Is the Death Star, the 40k equivalent of the Death Star, not the Star Wars Death Star, the tabletop 40k Death Star, dead?
No. Not at all. Death Stars are still a thing, and they're terrifying.
Even the Terminator Death Stars? I think Terminator
Oh my
Death
god.
Stars.
Okay, so have you played against Magnus yet?
No.
Alright, so let me explain to you Thousand Suns and why I hate them right now. They can take a unit of 10 Terminators, turn them into jump infantry that can use their jump packs both during the movement and assault phase. They can turn invisible, and they have a plethora of weapons capable of dealing with any threat that is near them. The Terminator Death Star of the Thousand Suns is probably the scariest thing on table right now. To the point where I crashed a first curse into it, and they killed the first curse. And that is 20 Genestealers, plus the Patriarch.
Right. It's just, I raise it because in the game I played last night, I went up against a full-on Typhus Terminator Star in the Spartan, I mentioned it earlier. And the army as a result was basically useless, because it was basically just, on top of it, it was just 2 squads of Plague Marines and a Rhino. And I tabled it, and I never felt under threat. Like, the Death Star, yeah, okay, it wrecked one of my crisis teams and my commander, but that's all it did, because it was too slow. And obviously, you said the Thousand Suns.
Not a good Death Star, then. Like, look at Thunderwolf Cavalry, plus Celestine with her 2 bodyguards, plus a bike, White Scars chapter bike, with Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Shield Eternal, what else is it? Artificer Armor, leading it. That's a true Death Star. That is terrifying to see, because anything they touch is going to die. Anything that shoots at them is going to kill one of those girls first, if not both of them, and then Celestine is just going to resurrect them. And then when they actually get into combat, a multi-charge, they will destroy anything that they touch. And they will survive getting into combat.
That is also Super Friends. But, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what Death Stars are now.
Yeah, I think the main reason I'm like the classic old school Death Stars, like when new players get into the game, like, oh yeah, I'm just going to hit this big bulky Honor Guard unit and throw my super awesome character that I really like the lore of, or that I've customized, into this super awesome Death Star, and we're going to kill everything. That to me is dead. I don't think it works anymore. Even like basically any infantry Death Star that is not a bike, that is not jump infantry or jetpack or monster, I don't think it works. Like the typical foot-mounted Death Star, even with a transport vehicle, I don't think it works anymore.
The Death Guard would disagree.
I tabled it.
Have you tabled it using its newer rules?
Yeah, this
everything
was Trait
has a
Allegiance.
4-up, feel no pain.
For some reason he was playing a 5-up feel no pain, but he said he was using Trait Allegiance.
Okay, so he was playing it wrong.
Yeah, his entire army was basically toughness 5 with a 5-up feel no pain.
You probably just slammed into a bad Death Star. I've seen ridiculously good Death Stars, and I know that they work from personal experience. I mean, if you want a good Death Star, the first Curse is one of the most perfect Death Stars. The Subterranean Uprising is another terrifying Death Star.
But the difference with those Death Stars, the first Curse, the Subterranean Assault, the Bikers, the Thunderwolves, the everything, is they're fast or they can cross the board safely and quickly.
Well, yeah, that makes an effective Death Star.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what I mean. The infantry Death Star that relies on a transport vehicle or just foot slogging it is no good because particularly in Maelstrom of War games, your opponent just outmaneuvers it.
Oh, yeah. Those types of Death Stars, the classic Death Stars, I guess you can call them, those have no purpose on tabletop anymore. Yeah, no real army runs those in tournaments.
Yeah, like the nearest thing that I used to face was the full-on Logan Wing, which was a full-stack Wolfguard Terminator, Thunderhammer, Stormshield, Arjak, Niall, Logan. And that was the bane of our gaming group for a while, but we just learned how to handle it. And now none of us played. This was even before Grav Guns came out. We learned how to handle it. But I look at when I see Terminators go down on the board now, I was like, "Yay, 3 kills for my Fire Warriors! Yay, 3 kills for my Plasma Rifles! It's taken up a huge chunk of points."
Yeah, Terminators, unless they're in mass, they're kind of useless.
But I even look at a 10-man Terminator. It's gone on like. Yay, I'm going to need 3 turns to kill it, but it won't do anything.
2 squads of 5 is scarier than a squad of 10.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, a large number of Terminators still does not scare me.
Also, if somebody's foot-slogging Terminators, they've already lost. You always deep strike Terminators.
Well, unless you're Space Wolves, because at least as far as I remember, you're not allowed.
Nope, they can teleport.
Oh, they changed that then. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the questions.
Yeah, and I've kind of just half exhausted my rants of the week because that was kind of like I wanted to have that debate as kind of like my discussion because the rant of the week has almost turned into a discussion at this point because we're not as angry as we used to be. I've had my rants about why people shouldn't hit the tower as much as they do. I've talked about the Death Star reasons, and yeah, I've pretty much discussed it now.
I'm just happy they managed to paint Cypher's armor the right color.
Actually, yeah, I did notice that immediately. Cypher is black, and that makes me happy. Like his armor being black and not green for some reason.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't realize is Cypher almost became a knight errant. I never realized that. I think it was Loken and Iacton Cruz tried to recruit Loken. Not recruit Cypher, but Cypher refused to go with them.
Yep.
So maybe this guy coming back is Loken. That's probably not though. But it would be highly amusing.
That would be. What if that Grey Knight, the one that's in the picture, is actually the what the Mechanicum had at the end of the book that immediately pissed off Abaddon?
Well, we know Abaddon has been hunting all of the original Grandmasters, and we know he's killed at least probably 3 or 4 of them. Because when he was with Epimetheus at the end of the Pandorax campaign, he was working out who he was. And it's like, right, I know you're not Rubio. I know you're not one of the other false traitors. So I know you're not Arbiter. I know you're not a Lunar Wolf, because he referred to one of them as a brother. So it was either Severian or Loken, probably Severian. It's not someone like Garrow, if Garrow was Grey Knight, which we know he isn't. But it's none of those guys. So it could be it's a Grandmaster, but hard to know.
Hard to know.
That was pretty much my entire rant. I really have nothing. Except for come to my channel, help me out with the Sons of Garrow. Because their fluff is expanding and it's all glorious.
My only rant really is, why Gilliman? Why couldn't you pick the fucking lion?
Yeah, that was my reaction, actually, when I saw it. Because, actually, when that image got tweeted at us, like, I didn't actually read the top text or the bottom text. I just saw, like, the cropped image, that we got tweeted. The one that we got tweeted was just, like, a crop out of just the image. And I looked at that, and I was like, I spent, like, it was a really blurry image that we got, and I was just zooming in on my phone. I was like, what is that? And then it clicked, and I was like, holy shit.
I'm okay with it being Gilliman.
I'm okay with it being Gilliman, but I'd have rather it had been Johnson.
Oh, yeah. But there are...
I'd rather get hold of model. Sorry, couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Oh, dear.
Anything else to discuss?
Nope, I think that's it.
That covers everything, really, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Trying to think now.
I don't think. It takes the surprise out of life.
Yeah. I think that's about everything. So that is the rather quiet and non-bombshell filled end to Adeptus Podcastus episode 11, and we do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions for us, then let us know in the comments Q&A. Leave us a comment with the word question in it, and we'll be able to ask them next time. This has been Michael for Tactica Imperialis.
This has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
Amigo Queen Alexis, love me.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you all again. Goodbye.
Bye.